Recognizing the truth opens the door to true growth. Anatoly Kostenko. Before we begin, here's a small ritual. Write in the comments one word that accurately describes your current state. Sign it, and let's get started. The forest inside you is dark, tangled, and alive. It's not a place you choose to enter. It's a place you carry, always. This is your shadow, the unseen part of you. The fears you bury, the desires you deny, the truths you refuse to name. It's not a monster, though it feels like one when it stirs. It's you, but raw, unpolished, untouched by the masks you wear in the daylight. Imagine walking through a city, every face a stranger, every voice a hum. You move, you smile, you nod, but something pulls at you, a whisper from that forest. You ignore it, drown it in noise, work, laughter, screens. But the whisper doesn't stop. It grows louder when you're alone, when the world quiets. It's the shadow speaking, reminding you of what you've hidden, the time you stayed silent when you wanted to scream, the dream you abandoned for safety, the pain you locked away, thinking it would fade. The shadow isn't cruel, it's honest. It holds every piece of you that you've rejected, the anger you call weakness, the longing you call childish, the shame you call failure. Society teaches you to hide these things, to polish your surface until it shines. But the shadow doesn't care for polish. It thrives in the cracks, in the moments you falter. It's the weight in your chest when you lie to yourself. It's the choice you make when fear wins. Picture a man in a suit, flawless on the outside, commanding rooms with his voice. He's admired, envied, but at night, alone, he stares at the ceiling, haunted by a memory, a time he betrayed his own heart for approval. His shadow carries that betrayal, not to punish, but to remind. Or a woman, radiant, always helping others, her smile a shield. She gives, she loves, but deep inside, her shadow holds the resentment she won't admit. She's terrified of being seen as selfish. The shadow isn't your enemy. It's your mirror. It shows what you've ignored, what you've buried. Ignore it, and it grows heavier, shaping your choices in ways you don't see. You lash out, blaming others. You cling to habits that numb you. You chase goals that aren't yours. The shadow doesn't force you. It simply waits, patient, until you're ready to look. This isn't about shame, it's about truth. The shadow exists because you're human. Everyone carries one. The saint, the sinner, the hero, the coward, they all have their forest, their whispers. The difference lies in who dares to listen. Most don't. They run, they hide, they build walls. But walls don't silence the shadow. They only make it louder. The shadow doesn't vanish when you turn away. It grows stronger, whispering choices that lead to chaos. The world you see is a house of mirrors. Every reflection feels real, but none are true. You walk through life, chasing images, success, love, belonging, thinking they'll set you free. But these are illusions, fragile as glass, built to keep you contained. They're not chains you can touch. They're ideas you've accepted, walls you've helped construct. This is the cage you live in, invisible yet unbreakable. Picture a glass box, transparent, flawless. You're inside, seeing the world move around you. People laugh, strive, connect. You want to join them, but something holds you back. Not bars, not locks, but beliefs. You're told what makes you worthy: wealth, beauty, approval. You're taught what makes you safe: fitting in, staying quiet, following the path laid out. These rules aren't spoken aloud. They're woven into every glance, every expectation, every story you've heard since childhood. You feel the weight of those stories. A young man scrolls through feeds, seeing lives that seem perfect: cars, vacations, smiles. He works harder, buys more, but the emptiness stays. He's chasing a script, not a life. A woman stands in a crowded room, her laughter bright, her words careful. She's loved, admired, but terrified of saying the wrong thing, of losing the mask that keeps her accepted. Both are trapped, not by the world, but by the illusions they've bought into. These illusions come from outside, but they root inside. Society hands you a blueprint: how to look, how to act, what to want. You follow it, thinking it's your choice. You wear the right clothes, say the right words, chase the right goals. But deep down, something rebels, a flicker of doubt, a pang of exhaustion. You wonder why happiness slips through your fingers, why the life you've built feels like a costume. The cage is clever. It makes you think freedom lies in more money, more likes, more status. You run faster, climb higher, but the walls move with you. The promotion doesn't fill the void. The applause fades. The love you chased crumbles when the mask slips. You're not living, you're performing, caught in a script written by voices that aren't yours. This isn't about blame. The world is built to distract, to keep you chasing shadows instead of truth. Advertisements sell dreams. Stories glorify heroes who never falter. People around you play along, hiding their own doubts, their own cages. You're not alone in this. Everyone feels the glass, even if they don't name it. The difference lies in who dares to question. Break the illusion, and the cage cracks. See the script for what it is, a story, not a law. The life you're chasing isn't the only one. The approval you crave isn't your worth. The rules you follow aren't your truth. This isn't easy. Stepping out means facing fear, uncertainty, the weight of your own choices. But the alternative is heavier. A life spent running, never arriving. The cage isn't locked from the outside. You hold the key, but fear keeps you from using it. Pain is not your enemy. It's your guide, sharp and unyielding, cutting through the fog of illusions. It's not here to break you. It's here to wake you. Imagine a shattered mirror, each jagged piece reflecting a truth you've avoided. Every sting, every ache, every moment of grief is a fragment of that mirror, showing you who you are beneath the masks, beneath the lies you tell yourself. Pain doesn't lie. It reveals. You've been taught to run from it. Society paints pain as failure, something to fix, to medicate, to hide. You drown it in distractions, endless scrolling, empty laughter, bottles that promise relief. But pain is patient. It waits, seeping into your dreams, your quiet moments, your choices. It's the tightness in your throat when you swallow your truth. It's the weight in your bones when you betray your own heart. It's the loneliness that lingers, no matter how loud the crowd. Think of a man who smiles through his days, his life a checklist of success, job, house, family. But at night, he feels a hollow ache, a memory of a dream he buried for stability. He drinks to quiet it, works harder to outrun it, but the pain stays. Or a woman, always strong, always giving, her kindness a shield. She pushes her grief down, calls it weakness, but it surfaces as anger, as tears she can't explain. Both are running, but pain doesn't chase. It walks beside them, waiting for them to turn and face it. This isn't about suffering for its own sake. Pain is a signal, a voice from the deepest part of you. It speaks when you've strayed too far from your truth. It flares when you cling to illusions, when you let fear choose your path. Ignore it, and it festers, turning into bitterness, addiction, regret. Face it, and it transforms. It becomes a map, showing you where you've been and where you need to go. Picture a forest fire, fierce and unstoppable. It burns everything in its path, trees, grass, life. But beneath the ashes, seeds wait, ready to grow. Pain is that fire. It destroys the false, the shallow, the temporary. It clears space for something real. When you let it burn, when you stop fighting it, you find strength you didn't know you had. You see the lies you've lived, the cages you've built. You see yourself, raw and unbroken. This isn't easy. Facing pain means sitting with it, feeling its weight, letting it speak. It means admitting you're not perfect, that you failed, that you're afraid. But in that admission lies power. The moment you accept your pain, it stops controlling you. It becomes a teacher, not a master. You learn what matters. You learn who you are. Everyone carries pain. The hero, the villain, the stranger, they all know its sting. The difference lies in who listens. Most don't. They numb it, deny it, let it rule them. But those who face it, who walk through the fire, emerge changed. They carry scars, but those scars are proof of courage, of truth, of life. Pain doesn't destroy. It strips away the false, revealing the truth you've hidden from yourself. Life is a theater, and you're on stage. Every day, you wear a mask, polished, familiar, crafted to fit the scene. You smile when you're breaking, nod when you disagree, hide your truth to keep the play running. These masks aren't just yours. They're handed to you by the world, by people you love, by the voice in your head that craves approval. This is the game of manipulation, where everyone plays a role, and no one dares to step off the stage. Imagine a grand theater, lights blazing, seats filled. You're the actor, delivering lines you didn't write. The audience, society, family, friends, watches, judges, applauds. You adjust your mask to please them. You soften your voice to avoid conflict. You chase their cheers, their acceptance, even when it costs you. But the audience isn't innocent. They wear masks too, pulling strings to keep you in place. A boss demands loyalty, but offers none. A friend seeks your help, but vanishes when you need theirs. A lover promises forever, but only if you play the part they've cast you in. Manipulation isn't always loud. It's subtle, woven into glances, silences, expectations. You feel it when you say yes, though your heart screams no. You sense it when you dim your light to make someone else shine. You know it when you twist your truth to avoid being judged. The world trains you for this. Be nice, be useful, be what others need. But every time you bend, you lose a piece of yourself. The mask grows heavier, the stage smaller. This isn't just about others controlling you. You manipulate too. You hide your flaws to seem strong. You flatter to be liked. You stay silent to keep peace. Every mask you wear is a lie you tell, not just to the world, but to yourself. Picture a woman who laughs at every joke, her warmth a magnet. She's adored, but exhausted, her true thoughts locked away. She manipulates to be loved, but the love feels hollow. Or a man, always in charge, his confidence a fortress. He controls every room, but fears being seen as weak. His mask is his cage. The theater thrives on this dance. Masks hide pain, fear, truth. They promise safety, but deliver control. The more you wear them, the further you drift from who you are. You forget your own voice, your own desires. You become the role, not the person. And the audience, those you seek to please, never truly see you. They love the mask, not the soul behind it. This isn't about blame. Everyone plays the game. The saint, the sinner, the stranger, they all wear masks, all pull strings. The difference lies in who dares to stop. To step off the stage means facing the silence, the fear of being seen as you are. It means risking rejection, conflict, loneliness. But it also means freedom. When you drop the mask, you reclaim your voice. You choose your truth over applause. The stage is crowded, but it's not your home. The masks you wear aren't your face. They're tools, not truths. See them for what they are, and the theater loses its power. You don't need to perform to be whole. You don't need to manipulate to be enough. Masks don't protect. They only distance you from your true strength. Inside you flows a river, wild and unbound, carving paths through the earth of your soul. Beside it stands a mountain, steady and unyielding, its roots deep in the ground. The river is the feminine, fluid, nurturing, alive with feeling. The mountain is the masculine, strong, focused, built for purpose. These forces aren't separate. They live in you, in every heart, in every breath. Together, they create harmony. Apart, they breed chaos. The world splits these energies, labels them, pits them against each other. It tells you the feminine is soft, emotional, weak. It claims the masculine is hard, logical, dominant. But these are lies, half-truths that twist your nature. The feminine isn't just tears. It's the fire of intuition, the courage to feel deeply. The masculine isn't just strength. It's the clarity of purpose, the will to protect. You carry both, no matter who you are. Deny one, and you cripple yourself. Picture a man, his life a fortress of control. He works, he provides, he never falters. His masculine mountain stands tall, but he's cut off his river. He buries his emotions, calls them distractions. His anger festers, his loneliness grows. He's half alive, trapped by a story that says feeling is failure. Now imagine a woman, always giving, her river overflowing. She nurtures, she listens, she bends to others' needs. But her mountain is eroded, her boundaries weak. She's drained, resentful, lost in a world that praises her sacrifice but ignores her strength. These imbalances aren't accidents. Society carves them into you. It rewards the man who hides his pain, the woman who swallows her voice. It punishes the man who weeps, the woman who stands firm. But the cost is heavy. When the river is dammed, you lose your flow, your creativity, your connection. When the mountain crumbles, you lose your grounding, your direction, your power. You're not whole. You're a fragment, chasing a version of yourself that was never real. The truth is simpler. The river and the mountain need each other. The feminine gives life. The masculine gives structure. The river softens the mountain's edges, keeps it from turning to stone. The mountain guides the river, keeps it from flooding into chaos. Together, they build something greater, a valley, lush and alive, where your soul can thrive. This is your inner balance, your hidden strength. Finding this harmony isn't easy. It means facing the parts of you you've rejected. For some, it's letting the river flow, allowing pain, joy, vulnerability. For others, it's rebuilding the mountain, claiming boundaries, purpose, resolve. It's unlearning the lies that say one is better, one is enough. It's embracing both, not as opposites, but as partners in your growth. Everyone carries this dance. The hero, the healer, the wanderer, they all hold the river and the mountain. The difference lies in who dares to unite them. Most don't. They choose one, cling to it, and wonder why they feel incomplete. But those who embrace both find something rare, a strength that bends without breaking, a heart that feels without drowning. Your power isn't in choosing one over the other. It's in weaving them together, in claiming the fullness of who you are. Strength isn't in the dominance of one force. It's in their unity, which you must forge within. The beast in the mirror. The truth you fear most is often the one you need most desperately. It's the reflection you avoid, the whisper you silence, the question that keeps you awake in darkness. You build elaborate systems to protect yourself from this truth, routines that exhaust you, relationships that drain you, goals that leave you hollow upon achieving them. This isn't living, it's hiding. Imagine standing before a mirror that shows not your face, but your essence. What would you see? The parts you've buried, rage you deny, desire you suppress, pain you numb with endless distraction. Society taught you to fear these aspects, to label them as weakness, as darkness, as shame. But they are neither good nor evil. They simply are. They're the raw material of your humanity, the fuel for your growth, the seeds of your power. Consider the business executive who projects strength while drowning in anxiety he can't acknowledge. His colleagues see confidence, but he feels like an imposter ready to be exposed. He works longer, pushes harder, succeeds by every external measure, yet remains empty. Or the mother who smiles through each day, putting everyone's needs before her own, her resentment building silently until it emerges as inexplicable illness, as depression that seems to come from nowhere. Both are running from the beast in their mirror. This beast isn't your enemy. It's the guardian of your truth, the keeper of your authenticity. When you reject it, you reject yourself. Not just the parts you fear, but the gifts they contain. Your anger holds your boundaries. Your grief carries your capacity for joy. Your fear marks what matters most to you. Your desire points to what makes you feel alive. By denying these aspects, you become a ghost in your own life, present but not truly living, seen but not truly known. Society profits from this denial. It's easier to control someone disconnected from their power, someone who looks outside themselves for validation, for direction, for purpose. The system thrives when you fear your own depths, when you trade authenticity for acceptance, when you silence your instincts to follow prescribed paths. You become predictable, manageable, useful to agendas that aren't your own. The path to freedom begins with facing the beast, not taming it, not transforming it, but meeting it with courage and curiosity. What if your darkness isn't what you've been told? What if your shadows hold wisdom? What if the aspects of yourself you've rejected are precisely what you need to become whole? This isn't about indulgence or surrender. It's about integration, bringing your hidden parts into consciousness, understanding their purpose, learning their language. Start with honesty. Name what you feel without judgment. Notice what you avoid, what makes you defensive, what triggers shame. These reactions point to where healing waits. When anger rises, ask what boundary it's protecting. When fear appears, ask what value it's defending. When desire pulls, ask what fulfillment it seeks. Listen not just to the content of these experiences, but to their intention, their deeper message. The process isn't comfortable. It will challenge everything you thought you knew about yourself. The stories you've built, the image you've crafted, the beliefs you've claimed as truth, all will be questioned. You'll discover that much of what you call me is borrowed, inherited, adopted to survive in systems that never had your growth in mind. You'll face the grief of time lost to masks, the anger of having betrayed yourself, the fear of who you might become if you stop hiding. But on the other side of this reckoning lies freedom, unlike anything you've known. Not freedom from struggle, but freedom to be authentic within it. To stand in your truth, even when it's uncomfortable. To act from your values, even when it costs you approval. To love from wholeness rather than need. To create from inspiration rather than obligation. This is the promise of integration, the reward for facing the beast. The mirror doesn't lie. It simply shows what is. Your task isn't to break it or to look away, but to stand before it with compassion for all you see. The beast you fear is the guardian of your power. Meet it, know it, embrace it, and reclaim the wholeness that has been yours all along. You've been told a story about light and darkness, about good and evil, about right paths and wrong ones. This binary thinking splits your world into fragments, right or wrong, success or failure, love or fear. But life exists in the spaces between these absolutes, in the gray areas where wisdom grows. Your suffering comes not from darkness itself, but from the war you wage against it. Truth lives in paradox, in the both and rather than the either or. You are both strong and vulnerable. Your path includes both victory and defeat. Your heart holds both love and rage. These aren't contradictions, they're completions, parts of a whole that cannot be divided without diminishing its power. The oak that cannot bend breaks in the storm. The river that cannot rest erodes its own banks. Balance isn't found in extremes, but in their integration. Consider how this plays out in your life. You exhaust yourself, seeking perfect certainty in a world built on change. You demand unwavering happiness in a life that naturally includes grief. You chase absolute security in relationships, in work, in identity, and wonder why you feel trapped, stifled, unable to grow. The prison is your own making, built from demands that reality cannot meet. Society reinforces these impossible standards. It sells you perfection in airbrushed images. It promises control through the right purchase, the right plan, the right practice. It worships certainty while demonizing doubt. But these promises are hollow, these standards toxic. They don't lead to fulfillment. They lead to anxiety, to shame, to disconnection from your own experience. They turn life from a journey into a problem to be solved. Liberation begins with embracing the dance between opposites. Your vulnerability isn't separate from your strength. It is your strength, allowing you to connect, to learn, to receive. Your doubt isn't separate from your wisdom. It is your wisdom, keeping you humble, curious, open to truth. Your darkness isn't separate from your light. It is your light, showing itself in shadow, teaching through contrast. When you stop fighting these paradoxes and start dancing with them, suffering transforms into growth. In a world that demands conformity, the greatest rebellion is authenticity. From childhood, you've been shaped to fit, into family systems, into social groups, into cultural expectations. You learn what wins approval and what invites rejection. You absorb unspoken rules about how to speak, how to feel, how to dream. These lessons carve deep grooves in your psyche, paths of least resistance that guide your choices long after you've forgotten learning them. The cost of this molding is immeasurable. Talents wither unused because they don't fit the narrative. Intuitions go unheeded because they contradict accepted wisdom. Desires remain unexplored because they challenge the status quo. You become a living compromise, a walking approximation of yourself. The gap between who you are and who you show to the world becomes a wound that never heals, leaking energy, creativity, joy. Consider the artist who abandons her craft for a sensible career, who feels the pull of creation but dismisses it as impractical. Or the man who knows his relationship is empty but stays because leaving would mean facing judgment, uncertainty, the terror of rewriting his story. These aren't merely personal struggles, they're symptoms of a collective illness, a culture that values compliance over truth, comfort over growth, belonging over becoming. Standing alone doesn't mean isolation. It means rooting so deeply in your own truth that you can face the headwinds of disapproval without being uprooted. It means building an inner sanctuary where your voice remains clear, even when external voices clamor for your surrender. It means finding courage not in the absence of fear, but in the commitment to honor yourself despite it. This journey begins with questions, not the surface questions about what to do or how to succeed, but the deeper inquiries that reveal your authentic nature. What makes you come alive? What truth do you know in your bones? What would you create if no one would ever see it? What would you say if no one would ever judge it? These questions bypass your conditioning and speak directly to your essence. As you peel away layers of conditioning, you'll encounter resistance, not just from others who benefit from your compliance, but from within. Your own mind has become the most effective enforcer of your limitations. It speaks in absolutes. This is just how things are. That's not realistic. People like us don't do that. These thoughts aren't random. They're the internalized voices of every authority that shaped you, every system that contained you, every fear that defined you. This self-policing is insidious because it masquerades as wisdom, as protection, as common sense. It doesn't feel like oppression. It feels like reality. But reality is far more expansive than the narrow corridors your thoughts have carved. The boundaries you accept as fixed are often nothing more than collective agreements, stories passed through generations, limitations that exist only because enough people believe in them. Freedom requires recognizing these mental chains for what they are, constructs, not truths. The beliefs that feel most certain often deserve the most scrutiny. The limitations that feel most real often hold the least substance when examined with clear eyes. This isn't about positive thinking or denying legitimate constraints. It's about distinguishing between actual walls and projected barriers, between laws of nature and laws of convention. Look closely at what holds you back. Is it truly external circumstances, or the story you tell about them? Is it genuine incapacity or fear disguised as practicality? Is it authentic preference or conditioning masquerading as choice? These distinctions matter because real change begins with seeing clearly. You cannot transform what you cannot name. You cannot transcend what you do not recognize. The work of liberation is both destruction and creation. You must dismantle beliefs that no longer serve you about your capabilities, your worth, your place in the world, and you must build new models, new narratives, new ways of interpreting your experience. This isn't simply replacing one program with another. It's developing the discernment to distinguish between thoughts that expand your freedom and those that restrict it. Start with awareness. Notice the automatic thoughts that arise when you consider change, when you imagine stepping beyond familiar boundaries. Don't argue with these thoughts or try to force them away. Simply observe them with curiosity. What assumptions do they contain? What fears do they protect? What values do they reflect? This witnessing creates space between you and the thought patterns that have defined your limits. Then question everything, not from cynicism, but from genuine inquiry. Is this true? How do I know? What if the opposite were possible? What evidence have I ignored because it contradicts my assumptions? What would someone with different conditioning believe about this situation? These questions aren't meant to lead to specific answers, but to loosen the grip of certainty, to make room for perspectives beyond those you've inherited. As certainty dissolves, possibility emerges. Options you couldn't see before become visible. Paths that seemed closed reveal hidden openings. This isn't magical thinking. It's the natural result of freeing your perception from the filters of limiting beliefs. When you stop assuming something is impossible, you can begin exploring how it might be accomplished. When you stop accepting that pain is inevitable, you can start discovering roads to healing. The greatest obstacle isn't the world's resistance to your freedom, but your own. You've been trained to distrust your instincts, to doubt your perceptions, to defer to external authorities. Reclaiming your sovereignty means reclaiming trust in your own experience. It means valuing your truth even when it contradicts conventional wisdom. It means risking being wrong for the possibility of discovering what's right for you. This journey isn't linear. You'll make progress, then retreat in fear. You'll experience breakthroughs, then fall back into familiar patterns. You'll taste freedom, then question whether you deserve it. This oscillation isn't failure. It's the natural rhythm of transformation. Each cycle takes you deeper. Each return carries new awareness. Each struggle builds capacity for the next advance. The ultimate liberation isn't reaching some final state of perfect freedom. It's developing the resilience to keep choosing freedom in each moment, to keep questioning limitations, to keep expanding beyond what you believed possible. It's recognizing that freedom isn't something you achieve once, but something you practice daily through awareness, through choice, through courage to face both the known and the unknown with an open heart and a clear mind. The exit from your labyrinth isn't hidden. It's waiting in your hands, not in achievements or approval, but in the quiet space between thoughts where you finally ask, "Is this mine?" This is where the game ends. Stop running. You're exhausted from moving without progress. Let silence replace the noise. One day without inputs, no feeds, no voices, just you. The weight will lift. Cut the invisible strings. Ask, whose dream is this career? Who wrote these rules I follow? What do I actually want when nobody watches? Each answer severs another thread. Your shadow isn't enemy, but exiled truth. It whispers what you've silenced. You want differently. You're losing yourself. You deserve more. Listen, write what shames you. Sit with discomfort daily. No judgment, just presence. You're both river and mountain. If you've hardened, let tears come. If you've dissolved, say no. Stand before a mirror. I claim all parts of me. This is wholeness. Now write your own script. Not what to have, but what to feel. Not rules to obey, but ones to break. Imagine your epitaph, not theirs, but yours. This is authorship. Pain isn't punishment, but navigation. Next time it comes, don't flee. Ask, what are you showing me? The answer always points home. The mask cracks, the stage empties. You step into unknown air and realize, this isn't loss. This is the first real breath of your life. You already know what to do. Now do it. We're sure you've discovered plenty of value, so subscribe now and stay connected.